Hello, welcome to the newspaper review. I am your host, Fatu George. Today's newspaper headline on the Voice newspaper: Sahel Governance Forum opens with strong calls for unity, trust and inclusive leadership. ECOWAS president warns Africa risks collapse without governance reform. Government not planning counter-protests, says Information Minister. Gamcel staff raised concern over delayed salary payment. Now the news in details. The 2025 Sahel Governance Forum on Wednesday opened in Banjul, the Gambia, with high-level calls for governments, civil society and citizens across the region to jointly confront governance challenges and rebuild public trust. Held under the theme, The Future of Governance, Rebuilding Social Cohesion and Public Trust. The two-day forum brings together political leaders, international experts, development partners, and civil society actors from across West Africa and the Sahel to chart a new path for democratic governance in a region plagued by insecurity and institutional decline. The forum, hosted by the government of the Gambia and convened by the United Nations Development Programme, International IDEA and partners, seeks to produce a regional governance agenda that can tackle entrenched inequality, weak state institutions, and growing insecurity. The Sahel Governance Forum will continue on Thursday with discussions focused on transitional governance frameworks, regional coordination, and innovative models for public service delivery. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Aliou Touré, has warned that without genuine reforms to improve accountability, discipline, and results in public governance, Africa's development potential will remain untapped. Speaking on Wednesday at an ongoing Sahel Governance Forum at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center, Dr. Touré delivered a candid address that challenged regional leaders to go beyond elections and focus on the deeper foundations of effective governance. Elections are important, but reducing governance to election is a very deep view of governance, he told a packed hall of regional heads of state, ministers, lawmakers, and international partners. Dr. Touré also addressed sensitive issue of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger's recent withdrawal from ECOWAS. He stressed that despite institutional disagreements, the community remains committed to regional unity. As the Sahel Forum continues, Dr. Touré urged participants to use the platform to generate bold, practical strategies to rebuild social trust and restore regional stability. The staff members of Gamtel Wednesday raised serious concern over the delayed payment of their salaries and the general welfare of employees of the telecom outfit. Addressing a press conference, Pierre Ndiaye, customer service representative, read out a petition on behalf of his colleagues. He said they had submitted 2 petitions to the Gamtel management. We, the concerned staff of Gamcel, are raising serious concerns regarding the management and restructuring of Gamtel. These issues have significantly affected our livelihoods, including the delayed payment of salaries and the general welfare of employees, Njai said. The petition included other critical points such as unavailable credit union, deductions even after approaching the Labor Department, lack of medical insurance, which is essential during the restructuring period, denial of access to Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, information, poor sanitary conditions, and insufficient cash power. The Information Minister, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, Wednesday disclosed that the Barrow government was not planning a counter-protest against the petitions made by the Gambia against looted assets, Gala. Speaking on West Coast Radio during coffee time with Peter, Dr. Ceesay said that every Gambian citizen has the constitutional rights to go out and protest against corruption. I think there is a misconception. The government is not planning to organize a counter-protest or a counter-demonstration, he said. However, he emphasized that Gambians live in a democratic society wherein citizens were empowered by the constitution to express their grievances against corruption. He adds that such applies to those who want to go out and show confidence in the government. That is democracy. However, he emphasized that Gambians live in a democratic society wherein citizens were empowered by the constitution to express their grievances against corruption. He adds that such applies to those who want to go out and show confidence in the government. That is democracy. Flood waters threaten our homes and health, Dipakunda residents cry. Each rainy season, the community of Dipakunda braces for the inevitable flooding that sweeps through homes, disrupts livelihoods, and endangers health. As the seasonal rains pour and gladdens the heart of farmers, residents of Dipakunda are trapped in a cycle of frustration and uncertainty. Kadi Kaluga, a long-standing resident, expressed pain, saying, "We feel comfortable only during the dry season. When the rain starts, we begin to worry. Flooding has repeatedly spoiled my batik fabrics, damaged my ID card, and ruined food supplies. When water enters the house, it looks just like outside." Mama Jallo, who also lives in the community, raised concerns. "If I had another place, I would live. The area is a junction where streams meet, making it flood easily. We built a small concrete fence because of the water. When it rains, the water rises to full capacity. Flooding also blocks roads and increases malaria risk. I just finished a round of malaria treatment just last week." The Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department, GID, Ibrahim Bob, has concluded a 2-week nation tour designed to assess operational activities, participate with passionate stakeholders, and monitor ongoing departmental projects across the country. The tour, which commenced on July 16 and ended on Tuesday, July 29, 2025, saw DG Mboub and his delegation visit immigration stations in all regions. Speaking at a press briefing at the conclusion of the tour, Mboub outlined the key objectives of their engagement. "This tour was necessary for me to familiarize myself with staff on the ground and understand their working conditions, challenges, and the realities they are facing daily," DG Mboub said. "It is also an opportunity to provide motivation and support and to gather recommendations for the way forward. We are currently reviewing our act and have a standing bill. Change management is underway, and field officers must be kept up to date on their roles and responsibility," he noted. "Electricians, mechanics, tailors, these are talents we want to see in immigration. GID is for every Gambian who wants to serve," Mboub added. The DG also highlighted progress in gender empowerment within the department. Now to the world news. More than 1,000 people arrested over deadly Angola fuel protest. Police in Angola say 5 people, including a police officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital of Luanda. What began as a 3-day strike by taxi drivers against rising petrol prices has escalated into one of the most whispered and descriptive waves of protest the country has seen in recent years. Thousands of people joined demonstrations in the capital on Monday that saw roads blocked, shops looted, cars destroyed, as well as clashes between demonstrators and police. The police also reported attempted demonstrations and looting in the provinces of Hambo, which they now say have been contained. As frustration spilled over on Monday, groups of protesters took to the streets in various parts of Luanda, chanting against fuel prices increases, nearly 5 decades of rule by the government MPLA party, and expressing their frustration with the country's current state of affairs. Ivory Coast President 83 says he will run for 4th term. Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has announced he will run for a 4th term in October's election. In a statement, the 83-year-old said his health was not an issue and his candidacy was driven by a need to preserve national stability aimed on ongoing security and economic challenges. Today's announcement by Ouattara constitutes a violation of our constitution and a new attack on democracy, Cham said in a statement. The Ivorian people will continue to make their voices heard and show the world what we think of this situation. On the same day, Ouattara announced his bid authorities ban a peaceful protest planned for 7th August. Current tension over the exclusion of opposition candidates evokes memories of past electoral violence, including the 2010-2011 conflict that left over 3,000 dead and the unrest triggered by Ouattara's controversial 3rd term bid in the 2020. Man jailed for 1 year over felony and theft conviction. Mohamed Souare has been sentenced to a mandatory 1-year jail term after being convicted on 2 criminal charges of felony and stealing. The verdict was delivered on Wednesday, the 30th July 2025 by the Principal Magistrate I.S. Mbai. Suare was arraigned by Sub-Inspector D. Jame on 2 counts. This count 1 charged him with breaking into a building and committing felony contrary to Section 258A of the Criminal Offence Act 2025, while count 2 accused him of stealing contrary to Section 226 of the Criminal Code. The prosecution, in presenting the fact, told Her Lordship that Mohamed Suare on oath about the 20th day of July 2025 at Serekunda Bartes at the Kanifing municipality, wheeling and unlawfully broke the shop of one Dauda and stole the following items, such amounting to $25,230. One mobile phone marked iPhone 12 Pro valued at a price of $30,000, one Samsung smartphone valued at $13,000, and a Polar seat valued at $25,000. All stolen items amounting to a total sum of $93,230,000 being the properties of the said Dauda. The court, having found him guilty on both counts, imposed a mandatory 1-year jail term with hard labor at the Mile 2 Central Prison and asked the accused to pay a compensation sum of $68,230. Now in sports, Miami City has secured a hard-fought 2-1 victory over Awame FC in the ongoing Brikama Sports Committee Nawetan qualifiers. Goals from Babkar Gay and Ibrahim Ajiba gave Miami City a comfortable lead before Modu Lamin Jallo pulled one back for Awame FC deep into stoppage time. In the other fixture, Future Stars booked an impressive win in the Brikama Sports Committee Nawetan qualifiers after beating Lamgos 3-1 in a lively encounter. Landing Krubali opened the scoring before Molamin Fadera doubled the lead for Future Stars. Mohamed Barrow pulled one back for Lamgos to keep hopes alive, but Malang Bojang sealed the win with a fine third goal to wrap up the match. The result sees Future Stars progress as the Nawetan qualifiers continue to thrill fans in Brikama. Now to the Foreign newspaper headlines. Scores of farmers decree lack of government support on provision of groundnut seeds. Access to ID cards remains a challenge for Gambian. Batch messenger of Foni Jarol concludes testimony before Brikama Magistrate Court. Registrar General admits only 36 Jame properties accounted for despite 131 listed. Now the news in details. With a poor groundnut harvest recorded during the previous cropping season, the Gambia government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security, promised to support farmers across the country with groundnut seeds. During a question and answer session in the National Assembly's second ordinary session in July, the minister informed lawmakers that the government, through the Gambia Agriculture and Food Security Project, had procured over 50 metric tons of groundnut seeds for distributions to farmers. This move came amid growing concern over declining groundnut yields. In an earlier interview with the Minister of Agriculture in March, he acknowledged that groundnut production for the 2023-2024 season had dropped by 14%. He noted that the ministry had developed plans to provide farmers with high-yielding, climate-smart groundnut seeds for the coming season. In Jokadu district, farmers from Kir Alhaji Karu and Kuntaya also reported only receiving maize and rice seeds. A similar story came from Ilyasa, where farmers confirmed maize seed distribution but could not confirm receiving groundnut seeds. In Kerawan, a farmer named Bafode said at least 6 farmers were given groundnut seeds by the government. The former Registrar General Aliu Jallo has admitted before the National Assembly's Special Select Committee on the disposal of former President Jammeh's assets that he and his team only took inventory of 36 landed properties of former President Yahya Jammeh, despite a document from the Ministry of Justice listing 131 properties. Mr. Jallo, who appeared before the committee on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, disclosed that although he was the Registrar General and appointed as receiver of Jammeh's assets by the High Court, he was not served with the court's custodial order. During the session, lead counsel Ajisenka asked Mr. Jallo, "Are you aware of the landed properties that were placed under your custody by the High Court?" He responded, "I don't remember the specific assets that were listed to be part of my custodial holdings. So what I know is that the order clearly stated that I was to have custodial control of all movable and immovable assets. In a recent press conference, Ibrahim Bob, the Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department, highlighted ongoing challenges faced by Gambians in accessing national identity cards, particularly for those living in rural regions. During a nationwide tour, Mboob reported that many rural citizens voiced their frustrations regarding the difficulties encountered in obtaining national documents, especially ID cards. We have received numerous comments about the issue of ID cards. While obtaining these cards may be viewed as a privilege, for many it is a fundamental right and we take that seriously, he stated. Mboob assured the public that the government is actively working to address these challenges. As Gambians continue to face challenges in accessing national identity cards, the Gambia Immigration Department remains under pressure to find solutions and enhance service delivery to all citizens, ensuring that their rights are upheld in the process. Fonyi Jarol District Tribunal Badge Messenger, Mr. Salifu Sise, on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, concluded his testimony narration before the Brikama Magistrate Court regarding the ongoing land dispute between Jarol and Joro Jarol villages. The hearing, which resumed under Magistrate Fofana, is part of a broader case involving multiple accused persons charged with disobedience to district tribunal order. At the opening of the session, Police Prosecutor Inspector Fadera reminded the witness, who is the prosecution's first witness, of where he had stopped during his earlier testimony before Magistrate Aissatou Dabo, who has since left the Brikama Magistrate Court. Magistrate Fofana, who now presides over the matter, raised concern about the existence of two separate charge sheets. Prosecutor Inspector Fadera clarified that the first charge sheet involves three accused persons, Alhaji Job, Abdullah Job and Bala Job, while the second pertains to 7 others accused of defying an injunction issued by the Fonyi Jarol District Tribunal Court. Now in sports, the Gambia's under-18 national basketball team has won gold in the 3x3 basketball competition at the Maiden African School Games in Annaba, Algeria. The team, quartet of Abdoulaye Taylor, Mustafa Toure, Mohamed J. Kamara and Fode Goji Sow, made history by winning the inaugural edition. The team trumped in a final on Tuesday against Central African Republic with a final score of 19-12. This win followed their impressive victory over Ghana in the semi-final with a 19-16 scoreline. The quartet, led by coach Badara Jeng, showed great determination and brilliant skill sets throughout the tournaments. The quartet, led by coach Badara Jeng, showed great determination and brilliant skill sets throughout the tournaments, drawing the admiration of onlookers and all fans at the games. Winning the basketball 3x3 gold medal is a honor that Gambia will be able to claim for the next 4 years, GNOC stated. National Audit Office engaged journalists on audit reporting. In a bid to enlighten the public about the importance of work of audit, the National Audit Office on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, engaged media personnel on audit reporting and related matters. The engagement, held at Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi, aimed to enhance journalists' understanding of audit process and strengthen collaboration between the National Audit Office and the media. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Modou Cissé, the Auditor General of the National Audit Office, described the engagement as a crucial moment for the institution. As the supreme audit institution of the Gambia, the National Audit Office has a critical mandate defined by our 1997 Constitution and other legislation, he said. Mr. Cissé said the engagement primarily focused on strengthening collaboration between the National Audit Office and the media, and on increasing the impact of audit work in the media landscape. He noted that the National Audit Office is an independent institution that has a critical role to play by holding the government accountable in the public interest. Now to the Standard newspaper headlines. Ambassador Bah receives 2025 Mandela Washington Fellows. Alport Banjul enhance port efficiency with new equipment. Junior doctors threaten strike over salary delay. Ex-Registrar General explain evictions at Jammeh Sol Badges properties. Now the news in details. A group of 56 junior doctors at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital have said they intend to embark on a sit-at-home strike unless government does something about persistent delay of their salaries. In a press statement dated July 29, shared with the Standard yesterday, the doctors, most of them fresh graduates from the University of the Gambia, started work at the hospital on May 1st, 2025. The doctors expressed frustrations at being repeatedly told that their salaries will be delayed, only to see other staff members receive theirs. They called on the government to address their plight and pay their salaries on time. The government is working on paying as the process is now at the level of Treasury Department and we are expecting the payment by next week. It has to be stated that that includes all the newly appointed staff of the hospital, including other cadres who are all coming to work. Former Registrar General Aliu Jallow yesterday informed the parliamentary inquiry into the sale and disposal of the assets of former President Jammeh about how some relatives at his modest residence in Kotu were evicted. Concerns were raised that some of these people should not be allowed to occupy certain properties based on security consideration. So we evicted them from properties in Kotu but moved them to another property so that they are not left in the streets, Jallow said. Jallow, however, stated that she could not secure the cooperation of one Isa Fati who was also occupying another frozen property belonging to General Sol Baji, adding that he had to refer that matter to the Janneh Commission. There was a back and forth between us and I was subsequently called by the chairman of the Janneh Commission to his office where we had a meeting with Isa Fati. During that conversation, I discovered that when we were talking to Isa Fati, she would put the telephone on and someone would be listening to what she was saying, but I was not bothered by that because I was only doing my job. So I did not know whether Isa Fati ended up vacating that property, Jallow told the inquiry. NGO donates medical equipment to Mile 2. A Spanish-based NGO has made a significant donation of healthcare supplies and electric beds to the hospital at the notorious Mile 2 prison in the Gambia. This charitable initiative is part of a humanitarian project that the organization has been carrying out for over a year in the African country, with a firm commitment to improving the living conditions and medical care of prisoners. The donation included hospital-grade electric beds, anti-bed store mattresses, basic medical supplies, clinical instruments, and other essential resources for the dignified and effective treatment of inmates and health problems. A group of young Africans were on Friday, July 25, 2025, warmly welcomed to the Embassy of the Gambia in Washington, D.C. by His Excellency Mamadou Lamin Bah, Ambassador of the Republic of the Gambia to the United States of America. The fellows are in the United States for a 6-week leadership and academic training at top United States universities. 6 fellows hailed from Liberia, Nigeria, South Africa, the Gambia, and the United States of America. They used the opportunity to thank the Ambassador Bah for the hospitality and the support accorded. The Gambian ambassador warmly welcomed the delegation to the embassy and congratulated them for being the best and the brightest from across Africa and the U.S. As part of its continuous drive to modernize operations and improve efficiency at the port of Banjul, Port Banjul has expanded its operational fleet with the introduction of new cargo handling and internal logistics equipment. The newly acquired assets include 5 forklifts with a 35-ton capacity to enhance cargo lifting and handling efficiency, 4 trailers to support the internal movement of goods across the port, and 4 tarpaulin covered trucks to protect cargo from weather exposure during transport within the terminal. This strategic investment reflects Port Banjul's strong commitment to strengthening operational capacity, minimizing delays, and delivering improved service across port activities. The new equipment is expected to significantly boost day-to-day operations, reduce turnaround times, and support the Gambia's growing trade and logistics sector. This is all we have for you in our today's newspaper review. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share, and comment as well. I remain your host, Fatu George.